Welcome to CPG Vibes. No scripts,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
All right, welcome to episode 117. We're getting up there, Wade. We're getting up there in episode count of CPG Vibes. No script, just chat. I am at my home base here in Southern California, and Wade is not, it looks like in a freaking museum or something. All those paintings on the wall in the background. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm actually outside the French Quarter in beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh,
Got here on Wednesday, did some visiting with some friends who we'll talk about at some point. I don't know if it'll be today or not, but yeah, we're thick deep in 90% humidity, 90-degree weather, typical beautiful Louisiana. We've covered a lot of ground over the last 48 hours, and we fly back on Sunday, so we got a lot more to do. But happy to be here this time. Hopefully, it's a little more user friendly. We talked about it a little bit, and time will tell. How you been?
yeah. I mean, this week went incredibly fast. Did not go to Indianapolis. I know there's a sweets and snacks show. I love sweets and I love snacks, but I don't offer a brand that is a sweet or a snack. So I do more consulting now. But heard that's going on. It's been kind of drizzling out here in Southern California, but overall, doing really, really well. It's actually interesting before we get into our laundry list items that even if you're not a golf fan, okay, I know a lot of people know I'm a golf fan. There is one of the biggest tournaments of the year happening right now, and the number one player in the world got arrested this morning. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that. I was actually just reading up a little bit about that earlier.
Crazy.
What a crazy story! It's still, and the thing is even in spite of all that, he's still playing pretty well, right?
Yeah, I think he's in. I was watching. He's number 2.
Third or
He's in,
fourth. Well, I was gonna say when I left, I stopped watching a little while ago, but it looked like he was when I left. It was like number 4. But yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. He moved up to number 2. He's like 8 under or 9 under when I last checked. But yeah, there was a crazy turn of events. He got stopped by a traffic officer. He misunderstood what was going on right outside the golf course early this morning. He was heading in to practice before the tournament. And he didn't stop when the officer said to stop. He misunderstood. They took him out of the car, slammed him against the car, and arrested him. And he was in jail for 2 hours. And then they figured out who he was, and then they released him, on bail. So anyway, laundry list items just to go over here. All randomness. It is no script, just chat. So we're going to talk about random shit on here sometimes. So we are the number 1 rated CPG podcast in North America. Thank you to everyone that's given us 5 stars. And on that note, make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. Literally go to your phone, click Apple Podcast, scroll, hit CPG Vibes, and then boom, hit 5 stars. If you're interested in a sponsorship, we have intro rates starting at $350 for a single episode, and we also have block rates. Make sure to email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com to find out about sponsorships. We are booked out, I think, till 2029 at this point. I mean, it's way booked out. Not Wade, but way booked out. We're probably about 6 months booked out, but you never know. Someone may switch and want to go later. You can take their earlier spot that happened yesterday. And so make sure to email us and roll the dice, see if you can get in for an earlier sponsorship. But we're looking at September, October as far as being a sponsor. We get a bunch of people on live, get a bunch of people on Apple Podcasts listening. Great way to bring exposure to if you're a service provider in the CPG space, or if you have a brand, a food, beverage, or health and beauty item. So, and then we also have a Slack channel, cpgvibes.slack.com. We have a community on there, so make sure to hop on there. And then also, just for those that I'm sure if you're on here, our new time, right? We're going to be on every week now at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be going forward. So now, if you're an East Coaster, you don't have to be sitting down with your family having dinner and listening to us at the same time. You can now be at 3 o'clock, not at 5:30. We also would like to recognize our sponsors. We have our weekly sponsor, and that is Eye Level Brands and David Abrahams. And we're going to post the link in there. Not seeing anything pop up there. I think Wade, you're still multitasking there.
Still, I was gonna say I'm hard at work as we speak, but I'm
Sweet.
yeah, I've got it coming. Yep.
Sweet, sweet. All right. And so Eye Level Brands will post the link for that. And he has a new program he's going to be talking about. We're going to be bringing on the CEO and founder, David Abrahams, in about 20 minutes. And then we also have our ongoing sponsors. We have V Driven and Range Me. So a little bit about both of them. So starting with V Driven, or a leading consulting and brand management firm. And you go to vdriven.com for that, specializing in strategic guidance and brand representation for emerging and mid-sized CPG brands, offering services from direct sales to key natural retailers, CPG accounting, deduction management. They deliver tangible results. And we, with Genius Juice, before we shut down the company, we were working with them for at least about a year and a half or 2 years. So they're a great service, great management team. They can save you a lot of money and help you grow your brand. And they have a 25% off for your first month, I believe. And that's CPG Vibes. Just mention CPG Vibes, and you can reach out to them. They have a link there, or just go to V Driven, or just LinkedIn message Luke Abbott. Our other sponsors, Range Me, that help brands drive awareness and engagement with retailers through an easy-to-use platform that has more than 15,000 buyers. So if you're a brand looking to grow and you want to connect with category managers, buyers, VPs of purchasing, go on Range Me, sign up. They have 3 programs. We have a landing page, which is rangeme.com/CPG vibes. And you can select the program that works for you, and you get discounts on a couple of those programs by mentioning CPG Vibes. So that's rangeme.com/CPG Vibes.
And I put
Uh,
I put the link up. I was gonna say to Alex, I put the link up there for some reason when I cut out the blog piece, it automatically puts it back in anyway. So I put the link up in the chat. You can see it there. If I try and take it
Perfect.
out, it puts it back in anyways. So irregardless, there it is with the discounts and everything.
Boom. So rangeme.com/CPG Vibes. And then also just want to give a shout out off the record to 7Ts. They sent me a case of their glass beautiful teas that are super healthy, super clean, give you energy. So it's going to be in the stuff we love, but I want to mention at the top of the hour because I just fucking love this product. And the two brothers, Jeremy and Josh, are awesome guys. So thank you for sending it over to me to enjoy. And I'm sure they'll get a case over to you, Wade, when you get back home.
I already got it and I
You
already
did.
consumed it. I honestly don't think I have any left. And I'm not exaggerating. I really think that I consumed all the bottles and all the cans already. Yeah,
Wow.
good stuff.
Wow. Yeah, it's really, really good stuff. So 7Ts, just Google them. And so anyway, okay. So those are all the sponsors. I cover everything, Wade. We get into the no script
You
babble
did
now.
well. You did. The only thing you left out, and I'm going to put it in here now, is we're on YouTube now, and that
Yes.
platform is growing immensely. From a standpoint of people watching it, you can watch it at your leisure. I think, obviously I've been gone this week, so I haven't uploaded anything new this week, but I think we're up to 60 of past episodes there.
Nice.
Last week's is on there. Some of the best episodes with the Master Series, the Outside the Tank, the Jimbo episode. There's a lot of good stuff out there, content that you can watch at your leisure. The analytics are good. People have watched on our YouTube channel, Alex, for a full 24 hours already. So
Wow.
people combined have
Binging.
spent an entire day watching us and listening to us. So that's good to see. And you obviously can do what you do with all your other YouTube stuff, is subscribe and follow and all that good stuff. But yeah, YouTube I think is going to be beneficial to the community to go back and see some of those past episodes and interact and see everything that's out there. So aside from that, I think the only thing you left out was the Venmo link, which I'm going to throw out there now. People have asked, if I don't want to sponsor the show, if I just want to, send you a little bit, to buy Alex, I don't know, coconut cult yogurt or whatever it is. How do I do that? And you can do that by, there's the Venmo link right there. As far as just, sending, $2 $1,000, $1 million, whatever you want to do, it's there for those that have asked about that. So aside from that, I think we've hit everything, Alex.
Nice, nice. Very cool, very cool. And just shouting out some of the comments. We're going to go a little old school on this. And I know we're all adjusting to the new time here. We're already getting a lot of feedback that it works out really well, especially for those that are in Europe that are 7, 8, 9, 10 hours ahead, because now they're tuning in at 9, what is it, 7, 8 o'clock at night versus at midnight. So we have Don Tolk with Neolia, right? He's the new, I think, president, right? CEO of Neolia, the olive oil. Hello, everyone from Europe. Love the new time. Allison Clay. Hey, everyone. What's going on, Allison? We need to catch up. I know we've been meeting too. Joe Tarnowski. Love the new time. Alex Bear and Wade Yenny. Thank you, brother. And another one from Allison. Posting my article shortly on my Vegan Women's Summit. Love to hear about that. We can talk about that here on the show. And we have Robert Kogan. I know we've been playing phone tag in a way. I just, we've been trying to call each other, and I'm going to call you today, I promise. Logged in from Midland, Ontario, Canada. So, sweets and snacks, there's Vegan Women's Summit going on. There's an NRA show, I guess, that David is at. I have not been to that one. Have you been to that one, Wade?
I have not. That's the
Is that
National Restaurant Association show.
Yeah, I was thinking like the National Rifle Association. I'm like, I don't think
Well, it could
David.
be. We should probably specify in case there's some spicy rifle toking guys out there, but I'm guessing it's the
Yeah,
Restaurant Association for the
good
food
guess.
service aspect. But he can tell us there if I'm right or not.
Yeah, yeah. I see David more as a mac and cheese guy and not as a rifle guy, but he is in Colorado where there's hunting out there. But yeah, so there's the NRA show, but let's go to sweets and snacks. I've never been to the show before. I've been to Fancy Food, I've been to Expo, obviously, I've been to other many, smaller shows, Unify K shows. But have you ever walked the floor for sweets and snacks in your tenure in CPG?
I've I have not. I have not. I think I've been in various capacities, and unfortunately when sweets and snacks, when it would have made sense for me to go, I was in a position that was unfortunately beyond that it made more sense for other people on the team to go. So I've not. I've heard good things. I've as I've been gone this week, I haven't kept up with things as much as I'd like to. But from what I've seen, the little bit that I've seen, it looks like it was a good show. Some good networking. Haven't seen much as far as awards go. I don't know if you have.
Not
But
at
it looks
all.
like there was a lot
No.
of common networking going on out there, and from what I've seen and read, the little bit that I have, it was a productive show.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, it's basically, I mean, it goes without saying, I'm stating the obvious, like John Madden here, but it's sweets, right? Something that's snackable that you can eat, sweets and snacks, and then also salty snacks. I know there was someone that went there interviewing people. It was pretty funny. Like she had a microphone and she has her own blog, and she was going around saying to people at the booths, so which is it? Is it sweet or salty? Like, which one do you like more? And like resoundingly more people said sweet, right? Because people have sweet teeth. But it was funny
Right.
that she was just hitting up booths, like they're in the middle of doing business, and she's like, sweet or salty, and like stuffing the microphone in their face. So, and then I know that Spritzel was there, which is a really great cookie, like an all natural. It has honey, it has sugar, it has all the good stuff, but it's still lower sugar than most cookies and super clean. They were there. I like these types of shows because they're more affordable. They're centered in on a category. They're not just all over the place. So if you are basically in the snack aisle and the sweet, the salty snacks, the sweet snack aisle, it's the place to be. And when buyers go there, they know what to expect. So I like how it's targeted. I like how it's more affordable. I like how it's closer to the center of the country to kind of bring in, it's more on the East Coast, but at least it's not on one coast or the other. It's more center, like kind of Midwest. And I like that about the show. And it's not too big. It's big enough to see variety, but it's not too big to where you cannot cover the entire show floor within a day. It's not overwhelming. So again, I've never stepped foot into the arena for for this sweets and snacks show, but I heard it's a pretty damn good show and people are satisfied and they get a lot of leads from it. So
So I was going to say two things. One, just a reminder, we got David Abraham's joining us here in about 10, 15 minutes, give or take. If you're listening now, you want to stay tuned in because David's going to give away a pretty significant prize from his company, a service. So if you're an emerging brand, I think you want to stay tuned in to listen to what that is because it could be very beneficial to help grow your business. So stay tuned because the way you win that prize is to answer something that we've talked about during the show that will come up. So stay tuned, pay attention as far as that goes. So I agree with you as far as that goes, Alex. What it reminds me of, what I like about the show, and again, not having been there, but the specialization of it. We talk about Range Me as a partner and their sister company ECRM. They do a lot of that same thing with specializing their programs, their shows, and things like that. So that if using that sweets and snacks example, looking at where I've been and what I've done, if you're a category buyer, you probably have that category, whether it's snacks, whether it's sweets. So you can go to that show and it speaks to you and your category specifically, and you can knock that all out. Whereas if you go to an Expo West, you're going through that huge show to see the categories that pertain to you. You can go to this one show and see just those categories that are relevant to you and do it. And the ECRMs is kind of works that same way, right? There's specific programs to whether it's general merchandise, whether it's
Hmm.
seasonal, whether it's center store, what have you. You can kind of isolate into exactly the categories that are relevant to you. So I think there's a lot of benefit to retailers, buyers, and whatnot, to and brands for that matter, to talk to those areas of the business that pertain to them and are relevant, so that you're walking a massive show and the frozen category manager comes through that has nothing to do with sweets and snacks, right?
Hmm.
And you it should have the right people in the room to help elevate your business, make decisions, and get to the right people. So I like the concept. I think it's great. I know, coming off my gig that I finished, it was an important show for us, especially on the sweet side, as far as our candy confections. As far as that goes, is a very relevant show, very important, and one of the most important, perhaps arguably more important than Expo West for that very reason.
Got it. And we have Joe Tarnowski that did a comment here. ECRM has 5 candy sessions and 2 snack sessions per year. Here's a good overview of what the ECRM experience is like, et cetera. And there's a link there if you want to copy and paste. So, and and the other thing I'll mention, again, we're hopping all over the place, is that the prize is that eye level is going to be offering is 3 to 8 thousand bucks. So it's a lot of money, worth a lot of money, and it's up to 3 months free use of this software for brands. So yeah, that's the Sweets and Snacks show, to kind of pivot it back, right? And to talk about just current events and what's going on. So couple things that I saw in the news wire, which is interesting, is that Foxtrot, there's some rumor rumbling that someone, a suitor, is going to be buying them out of bankruptcy for the assets and the rights to use, the name, and maybe even reopen some of the storefronts that recently closed, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. For those that don't know, I think everyone's it's the closure heard around the world at this point in the CPG world, that Foxtrot closed all their locations roughly about 2.5 or 3 weeks ago. And so, according to what I'm reading, it's going to be about a 2.2 million, somewhere very low, very, very low, where they're going to rescue it. They're going to revive it, I should say. And they're going to also reopen a few of the stores. And this could be coming as soon as 2025, is what I'm reading, or maybe even before, because the
So
Foxtrot name was really strong.
yeah, so the article I pulled up said the sale, it was a foreclosure sale, was for their inventory, intellectual property, accounts,
Yep.
chattel paper, documents, furniture, fixtures and equipment, general intangibles, and goods.
That's a hell of
And
a deal for them.
yeah. So it's 30 locations, uh, fresh food, niche products, etc. Obviously, it sounds like they. If I'm reading this correctly, it says that they really only entertained one bid. So it's going to be interesting to see when it comes out exactly what happened, who the winner is. I don't know if there's a winner if there's only one bid, but yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this all comes out.
Yeah, yeah. Just it's kind of like I feel for the investor side because they put in over $100 million, I think 180, I mean, even more, right? A couple 100 million into this concept and to their traction. And now it's being bought for pennies on the dollar, right? And everyone loses, right? Foxtrot name, hopefully it lives on because, they've really built a name for themselves. And I love the concept of it. So, yeah, like you said, Wade, let's see what happens. And then we have the other news item. We always like to talk about others that are across the aisle, right? They're doing their own thing, right? Whether it's BevNet, whether it's Startup CPG, but we love to support the CPG community. That Startup CPG has a news wire where you can post your own news items now. I thought that was pretty groundbreaking, where you can literally say, hey, we're opening a round. Hey, we got a new line coming out. We're launching in Whole Foods nationally, like I Want Organics, right? Mark Samuel just announced that. Congratulations, Mark. And you can post that on the Startup CPG Newswire, and it goes out to everyone there, right? I think it's through maybe an email thing that goes out. Is that right, Wade? Like an email newswire or maybe a Slack newswire? I'm not sure exactly how the program works just yet.
Yeah, I'm not. I did see that. I didn't. Again, being my situation this week, I didn't read into it that much. I agree. It's all I know is that from a press release standpoint, things like that. Obviously, there's typically some money involved with regards to getting that out into the publication and broadcasting that news. So the fact that Startup CPG and Daniel are doing this, free of charge is awesome for the space and especially the community that typically we speak to. I don't know too much of the specifics to go into it, but whether it's broadcast to one person or a zillion people, it's the fact that it's free
Yeah,
just speaks to the
huge.
community, and it's yeah, exactly, yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. So we'll see how that plays out. I know again from past experience when you're trying to get the press to latch, you're sending that information to the various outlets and you're asking them to do it. They may not, they may edit it, they may spin it how they want to, not negative or anything like that, but there's a lot of strings typically attached with getting the various media outlets to put that news out there the way you want it to. So the fact that he's doing it for free is really nice.
Yeah. So shout out to Daniel Scharf and everyone at Startup CPG. It's a great community over there. So, and I just posted the link actually. This is, I couldn't find this immediately in the in their press release. Maybe it was somewhere on the bottom, but there's a Google form to submit your Newswire item in your press release, and there it is. Like you just copy and paste that for those that are listening. Just come on LinkedIn and copy and paste this link, and you can submit your news item right on here completely for free. And then the other thing I just want to, in shifting gears, really before because we're going to bring David on, and we're going to we're going to continue this conversation after after we're joined by David here for him to talk about eye level brands and his new software Turnpike, which is a great name. I don't understand that name as much because I'm on the West Coast. There's no turnpikes out here, but definitely East Coast turnpikes are everywhere. But thank you. I just want to say a quick thing before we bring David on is thank you so much to the community on LinkedIn for your responses, your support, your comments, your likes, just all the love for me formally announcing that we've ceased operations at Genius Juice. And even in honor of that, I'm wearing my old school Genius hoodie, right, with the logo here for those that are watching. And I mean, the comments on here, Wade, I mean, enormous. I mean, I think this is by far the largest posts, impressions, likes, and comments I've had in the last 2.5 years. Just looking at it, over 50,000 impressions. But look at the comments here, and I'll do this for a second because, again, no script, just chat. Don't want to make it too much about this, but I'm just going to share what this thing looks like. I mean, did a post about it, and the number of comments, there's 159 comments, bunch of likes, and you can just see the outpouring of support, from everyone from Mark, to Stephanie, to you, to Gage, to Ryan Armistead with Happy Moose, just hundreds of people on here. So thank you for that support. We'll talk more about my feelings on it and dig into that, about the aftermath of it, without being too repetitive from previous episodes. But thank you so much, everyone, for all the love.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, building the community, right? And supporting each other. So awesome stuff.
Definitely. I'll share more about, emotions and thoughts behind it. And then I had a lot of founders, Wade, that reached out to me asking, wow, you tried for 10 years. I've been in it for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. I'm hitting these walls. I'm running out of cash. What should I do? Right. And it goes back to that theme of, do I shut it down? Do I keep going? So we can kind of double dip into that a little bit, given that this is always a hot topic. Founders are always struggling with what to do when there's really no end in sight, and or seemingly no end in sight. So let's bring on our sponsor for this week, and a really good friend of ours. Number one, he's an awesome guy. I love this guy. I love his humor. He has kind of the dry humor thing, which works for me. I love dry humor. And he graciously offered his booth up to us at Expo West for our live edition of CPG Vibes a couple months back. So we just really wanted to give him that accolade first off. So, Wade, do you want to go? I'll let you handle this one. I'm going into who they are and what they're offering. Should I talk a little slower to give you time to pull up the spreadsheet?
No, no. I was gonna say I've got the spreadsheet up. I just got to get the right
Nice.
tab and do that. But yeah, it's eye level brands, and their analytics software is called Turnpike. You referenced earlier that shows many metrics in a dashboard that includes voids, category reviews, velocity of items like units per store per week, turns, top retailers that pull from each distribution center, your top selling chain banners, and the ones doing the worst, so that you can do something to turn your sales around. It's all built off your distributor data of cases from DCs into stores. So obviously, if you're in the space and you're listening to this, you know how relevant and important that is to you. And so what he's giving away, and we're going to talk to him a little bit, but they're going to offer three different prizes, or three prizes total, 3 months free use of the system. And the cost of the subscription would vary between $3,000 and $8,000 for the combined 3 months. So it's significant prize. Again, just we're going to let David talk a little bit more about it, but it's something that I think every brand can use, and the fact that he's giving this away for free to let you dip your toe in the waters is pretty awesome stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right. So let's get some music going here. We're going to bring on David Abrahams, CEO and founder of iLevel Brands. David, how are you?
Hey guys, good to see you.
Good to see you
Hey,
too.
David.
Good to see you. All right. So where are you? Remind us, where are you out of?
I'm in Austin.
The hotbed for new products. Can you see? Are you like a stone's throw away from Whole Foods out there?
Yeah, actually, the shadow of the building is right on my house right now.
Nice. You can see the big like logo, just the silhouette of the logo over your house.
Yep.
So tell us about. I know we have about 5-6 minutes here. We want to definitely make sure everyone gets the info, learns about you, who you are. Talk about your background a little bit, and then iLevel Brands, and we'd love to hear about Turnpike. So yeah, the floor is yours, my friend.
So I decided to jump into the food business when I was tired of being an engineer. I imported foods from South Africa, learned a lot about the industry the hard way. iLevel was my third try at getting something going in this industry. As we all know, it's not always the first try. And started a brokerage 11 years ago on the East Coast with a handful of bodies, and now, we're a national brokerage, and we focus what I say is the middle market of brands, not the biggest guys, not the smallest guys. And what we're talking about today is Turnpike. It's a software that we created that we actually give to our clients for free. But I thought it might be something based, what you're saying is like, it's so expensive to succeed in this industry. When you invest all this money into retailers and promos and whatnot, don't you want to know whether you're succeeding? Are you meeting the thresholds and velocity? What if you get those slow moving reports? What do you do about it to fix it? Um, so Turnpike will take all of your distributed data and we put it into one dashboard using Power BI as the output. So shipments from any KE, Unify, Threshold, DC, etc. And you can see what's going on. Did I get a lift on my promo? Here's steady state before the promo. Here's the spike during the promo. Here's after the promo. Did it get me a lift? If it didn't, you wasted your money on the promo. Um, hey, I'm authorized, in this chain, there's 40 stores. Am I in all the stores with all the SKUs that I'm authorized in? Well, maybe you aren't. Maybe only 20 of them has the line, and only 18 of those have them all. So they're missing SKUs. They'll see the voids in chains, in indies. You're looking at your monthly or quarterly data and you see one account's really declining. Well, why? Well, we can show you that. Well, you know what? Somebody dropped a tag and all the stores are missing this item, or somebody didn't reorder. It's like going to the doctor and say, doctor, I have a rash. What does that mean? Well, the doctor can diagnose it for you and tell you it could be XYZ, and this is what I recommend you do. So Turnpike can look into the tea leaves of your distributed data and diagnose what's happening by SKU, by store at any location, be it an indie or one door of a major chain, so you can see what's going on and do something about it before you find out, hey, it got this scope, and you don't know why.
Makes sense. And one thing, before we go back to the, we talk about Turnpike, more of a high level statement about high level brands as well, because I've known David for I met him at an NCN event, about 7.5 years ago, with Jim Tonkin and that whole gang over there. And what I discovered about his brokerage, knowing him for many years and learning as we went, is that there's the big, big, big guys, right? There's the Acostas, and then the other ones that are out there. Then there's the real small brokers. I feel from my vantage point as a brand, right, from operating a brand for 10 years, that you're in that sweet spot where you have national coverage, you have the relationships. It's not going to be as low cost as a very, very small broker, but it's not going to be as high cost as the huge national brokers, and that your team really cares. That's the biggest thing that I noticed being at your booth for a full day and knowing you for so long, David, is that you care about every brand you bring on, and you pitch your heart out to make sure these brands are getting into as many doors as they want to be in. So that's what I've always loved, like no bullshit, not sugarcoating it because you're right here in front of us and sponsoring our show. We don't let any sponsor in, but we feel like you're very special in what you offer and you really genuinely want to help brands. So I just wanted to give you that
No,
acknowledgement.
I appreciate that. And I've always said that we want to be collaborative and transparent, and using Turnpike is 100% that. I mean, you see what we do. If things are going sideways, it's probably our fault. We have to explain to you why it's not. But, we want to make sure that we guide you by numbers. I can tell you top down what the best stores are in any DC based on velocity. I can tell you which banners are the best fit for your brand. So when we make recommendations, we know this is a good recommendation. And if the ROI is 4 years and you get discoed in the first year, you lost it all. So we're going to make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into in any scenario. So there's true collaboration. I say the next best thing to your own sales team. But Turnpike's the secret sauce, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to taste that and see what it's like, whether you use us as a broker or not.
SKU
So, David,
rationalization. Oh, go ahead, Wade. Go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, I'm sorry, I didn't see it come through on my feed, but we did have a question from Joshua Schurz at Bella Brand Seafood. He says, David, it sounds amazing, and he's asking if it's a resynthesis of the SCCV and KE data, or is it new data? And if it's number one, how does it differ?
So, I mean, it's the distributed data and everybody has it. The difference is we've indexed every single door. So they have a unique ID. And regardless of who a store buys from, we have it, in the system. The thing is, if you get a spreadsheet and you look at it, what does it tell you? Do you know how to use pivot tables? Do you have historical data over 10 years? No. Here you just type in, what does this mean? And you look at it and it says, here is the symptom of what's going right or wrong. So, at the end of the day, it's taking data and making use of it. You can buy data, but if you don't know what it means, then it's valueless. We turn it into, this is what's happening to your business based on product going into stores. Is it growing? Is it declining? By the time you get to spins, it's too late. You need to
Hmm.
catch it way sooner than that. So we're looking for problems or successes for you along the way every month. So yeah, it is data you can get, but we make something useful out of it for you so that you can do something with it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the key thing from the brand side, right, which is the beauty of this show, we have the buyer side, the brand side, the broker side, is that the data is synthesized to make it easy to understand. And the better data that you have, the more informed of a decision you can make more quickly. And to me, that translates to saving money and not making enormous mistakes and hitting landmines. So if you have a promo that's not working, you're spending all this money on it, at Whole Foods or wherever it is, Publix, Albertsons, doesn't matter where. You get real time data to say this promo is working or it's not working. So, like, that means a lot, I think, to brands because you can cut it off and do something different to make it work better. The other thing that also really resonates with me, David, is SKU rationalization as well, right?
Yeah,
Like, you have a 5 SKUs and 3 of them are great, one is okay, and one's a dog. You get that real time data to say, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be producing this fifth SKU on our next run because the
yep,
velocity is just not there when you look it up on Turnpike.
absolutely. I mean, you can see scenarios where the top line revenue for a brand when they lose a SKU doesn't change.
Right, right.
So, I mean, you can see that. I see the question about how do we develop the tech. Well, it comes basically from our clients asking us, can you figure out how to solve this problem for us? And I'm like, yeah, I got 2 degrees in engineering. Let me go figure it out in a mad lab and come back with this is what we're seeing. So we used to do pivot table spreadsheets in the early years. It got so big, we had to put it on servers. We had to create algorithms to spit it out and then use Power BI to show you the answer. So it was all curated from real life problems from brands that said, why is this happening? So we went and said, hey, this is why. This is what we see, and this is how you can fix it.
One more question from Gavin before we get you out of here is Gavin Conkle over at Cloudwater. Thanks for that sample package, Gavin. He sends big sample packages, Wade, huge ones.
I also drank all those too, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gavin.
I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
about I'm not as much of a racehorse as Wade is. I'm about halfway through them. How do you? Okay, question for David here. How do the brands receive your feedback when you tell them they do not belong at XYZ retailer because it is not a demographic fit?
A lot of times they want what they don't want, and you have to show them that they really don't want it. We can literally develop a P&L by retailer. So we factor in your slotting, your free fill, your promos, look at the sales you're going to generate based on velocities, and show you it's going to take you X number of years or months to get in the black. Do you really want to do this? And this is based on reality. It's not fictitious. It's not kind of rule of thumb. It's here's the data of items in your category. This is what's really and truly going to happen. Sometimes it's like, whoa, I didn't realize that I was going to get payback that quick. Slotting sounded horrible, but it's the right consumer in the right store. It's worth doing. Or you know what? It's going to take me 4 years, and in 1 year, the retailer is going to say, "You're out if you're not moving well enough." So I'll tell them that, you're the boss. If you want to roll the dice, be my guest. But
Hmm.
at least brands now know going into it with their eyes wide open what the risks are and what could happen versus, hey, go get me Albertsons National. I would say, well, be careful what you wish for.
Makes sense.
So,
All right, so
David,
go
one
ahead.
I
Yeah.
was going to say just for clarity, David, too, the prize you're giving three-month subscriptions. Is that correct?
Yeah, so 3 brands can. So what will happen is we need your data from the distributors. I'll sign an NDA. We're not going to share it with anybody. We'll plug it into Turnpike, and you can go in there and use it just like our clients do to see what you think.
So we're gonna like I said earlier, we're gonna give this away at the end of the show. Someone's gonna answer a question, so we can do it. And Alex, we'll figure this out whether we give it to the first 3 correct answers or we let one person win and then gift gift it to sister brands or something like that. We'll figure that out. But that's enormous. I know we've got Sarah from Cirilla's on here. We've got Gavin from Cloudwater on here. We've got Don Toll from Neoleo on here. We've got a number of people on here who could benefit from this. So that's outstanding.
Okay, and if you in 15 seconds or less, one more question here. Can you tell a little bit more about why that by the time you start using spins, it's too late from Don Tolk?
I guess
Go.
what I'm saying is when you get your report showing where you stack up against the other brands, if you're not doing well, it's too late. We can help make sure your sales are growing before you get that score. So that's what we can impact.
Love it. All right, so to
Love
reach
it.
out to you, email and then email best way or LinkedIn
You
messaging
just
or
send it. You can LinkedIn, whatever you like, but my email is just david@ilevelbrands.com.
okay, and it's eye level with an I,
Yeah,
so
like
I
exactly.
level like you spell level
There you go.
brands plural.
Yep. Yep.
There's the website. Check it out. Reach out to David and also make sure to stay tuned because the prize is worth at least about $3,000 for this software for a 3-month free FREE use of Turnpike. So
For three
David,
winners. How about that?
three for free.
Yeah.
So thank you, David, for having us on, and also we're super looking forward. I know it's a ways away, but it comes up quick to being having the next live show for CPG Vibes right at the Eye Level Brands booth next year. So thanks again
You
for
got it.
offering that up.
Save you a table.
Awesome. All right,
Thanks, David.
everyone. David Abrahams, Eye Level Brands. Take care, David.
See ya.
Okay, so we have about 15 minutes here. So great stuff. Make sure to stay till the end of the episode because those prizes they will go fast, and it's going to be at the very end of this episode, right before 1:00 Pacific Standard Time, 4:00 Eastern. But yeah, so with a no script, just chat. The other, going back to it, I got a lot of calls, Wade, from people. That article that I wrote on LinkedIn, which I was afraid to. I was I waited about 3 to 4 months before writing it because the number one thing was, will people judge me? Right? That's what's going on in my head. Will people judge me that either I'm not good enough, that I failed at something? Wow, he started this business and he couldn't bring it to an exit and be super successful. So would he be a great consultant? Right. And obviously, I've picked up so much knowledge and learned so much that I feel I add value as a consultant. And I do the crowdfunding side, which I've been very successful at for brands and for myself, raising millions for Genius. But a lot of those thoughts were going through my head, insecurities. What will people think? But I realized that it was incredibly therapeutic to post it. I felt better. I felt that I didn't have anything to hide. And then I was and it kind of tears me up, but I was so overcome and overwhelmed with just the love and support of all the comments and people from 10 years ago that saw me launch the brand, 5 years ago, seeing me on Shark Tank, all these memories of all these people along the journey of Genius Juice that came out of the woodwork and just said, man, like you were great. I love the brand, love the product. I drink it every day. And it just really touched me. So I'm so happy that I posted about it, and I love reading all the comments.
Yeah, well, you and I have had conversations, obviously, several months ago about this, and far be it from me to tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, but I kind of suggested that you share that story because I felt at that time when we originally talked that it was going to be exactly what it was. It was going to add value, and I think obviously it did just that, and I think as far as the consultant piece goes, if you read anything or you listen to people that are in the space and what makes a great, we've talked about this, you want people that have been where you've been. I mean, I'm not going to consult with someone to to do something that they've never, that I'm in, I don't know, making something up, as far as, hey, tell me about the best places to visit in New Orleans where I'm at currently, for someone that's never been there, right? So here you are, you've done this, you put blood, sweat, and tears tenfold into it, and it didn't work out the way you wanted to. But you have those experiences that you can share and coach and mentor and advise other people on, because you've been there in those weeds, and you can help brands say, here's what I did that didn't work. Maybe you want to try, you can guide them in a direction that maybe they don't go down that same road. So I think, kudos to you for sharing it. I've shared about some of my past, I've been very open about my biggest failure professionally was the closing of my restaurant that resulted in a personal bankruptcy. But that action, that event in my life led to my biggest success where I'm at. Well, not today because I'm currently unemployed, but as
But
far as on the
your
trajectory, yeah,
experience.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, and the trajectory
Right.
into I would have never gone into the grocery business had I not had that. So everything happens for a
Hmm.
reason. Life
Exactly.
is just it's ups and downs and twists and turns. And I think for you, this it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, but I think you can agree where you're at in your life with your family, where you're at personally. It's you're on a good track right now for where you are today and now.
Thank you. That means so much,
Yeah.
brother. Thank you. And you're absolutely right. I everything happens for a reason, right? It happens for you, not to you. And Genius Juice beyond family, beyond my son, just looking at the professional side of my life is one of the best things that really ever happened to me, because I got to get into the CPG space, meet great people like you and Gavin and Robert Kogan and Stephanie Hui and everyone else on here, Allison Clay, Sean Berg. Like, this is a community of love and support because of how hard this industry can be and how competitive it is. So having really great people around you, it makes the journey that much more meaningful and joyful. And I mean, if my friend used to be in the plastics, industry, where they made like PVC type stuff. And at trade shows, I mean, he worked for the biggest plastic manufacturer for the certain product that was at Walmart. I won't say what it is. Like, it was like toys and stuff. And then there was a competitor across the aisle at this trade show. They wanted to kill each other. Okay. Like, they hated each other. They spoke badly about each other. In this industry, that doesn't happen. Like, everyone cares and supports each other, even if it's a competitor. People want to help each other. And so I feel like that's why I love this industry so much, and why I'm not only been in it for 11 years, but I'm staying in it for as long as I possibly can, right? Hopefully the rest of my life. And the other thing that, that I talked about in the post is that few people understand, few people that have not been founders, and you've been a founder of your restaurant, do not realize how fucking hard it is, and how hard it is on your mental health and your energy, and how it takes tolls on your mental health and your body. And you have to sacrifice, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, sacrifice so much of your personal time with family to work on your business. I've spoken to like David Greenfeld at Dream Pops about this. And so, like, I love that I got the front seat, right? Front row center perspective on it for so long, because I can relate spiritually with founders, whether it's Jay Carl's or even founders of their own, advisory business, right? Like Sean Berg and or David Abrahams. So having that perspective allows me to help people more, because I know what a founder is going through. I know how stressed out they are. I know that they need money. I know that they're struggling to stay above water and see traction with their product. It's constant stress. And so, me resonating with them and understanding where they're coming from allows me to help them better, and really be in their shoes on what they're going through. So that's been also valuable for me.
Well said, well said. So I know we're getting close on time, but let's
Yes,
let's
we
go
are.
ahead and at least ask this question from Sarah Delaney with Cirilla with regards to she's showing us, would you do it all again? And she's showing his LinkedIn user, but
Yeah.
knowing what you know today, now if you could go back in time and play Monday morning quarterback, would you do it all over again? And if so, why? There's a follow up to that.
Yeah.
Why or why not?
I would say that if I were to do it again, it would not be in this current environment. It's a little too, for me personally, right? Other founders, they're
Mhm.
fighting, they're doing it, they're pushing through, but it's harder to launch a brand now than it was. It's always been hard, but it's harder now than it was like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So I don't think I have it in me to do it all over again soon, but I would love at some point, at a later stage in my life, to relaunch or to launch, I should say, a brand. And if I would do it again, at some point, I feel like in this current state I would, but I would do it very differently this time around. From a margin standpoint, from a scalable standpoint, and I think the biggest misstep I took was that I was so in love with the product that I was pushing this product, and in that form, it was so expensive to make. The supply chain was a challenge, things I've talked about, that I wish I made changes and I was more open to changing things along the way to make it a more practical business that was profitable, high margin, easier to do supply chain, easier to manufacture, and something that's a little more mainstream and not so niche, because I felt our product was somewhat niche. Even though it was coconut, it was a specialized subcategory. So yes, long story short, I would do it again, but I would gather everything I learned and do it much differently from the way I've done it in the past.
Excellent.
Still
Well
hard
said.
still very, very hard.
Yeah.
So, and then Robert Kogan, nothing happens without a team that works, helps, loves, and always has each other's back. So true. So true. Like you cannot, if you want to go fast, do it yourself. If you want to go far, do it with the team, right? As they say.
Right on.
All right. And David Abraham sent me a nice message here too. So thank you, my man. So shall we get to let's reiterate too. Just going to reset the room. Haven't said that in a while. To our ongoing sponsors. Then we're going to go to our weekly sponsor prize that y'all been waiting for at Eye Level Brands. So we have two of them, and I'm going to flip-flop it. We have Range Me. Range Me helps brands drive awareness and engagement with retailers through an easy-to-use platform that has more than 15,000 buyers all over the country, even internationally. Listeners can get discounts on Range Me Premium and Pro subscriptions, which include benefits such as direct product submissions to retailers, access to Nielsen IQ category data, and in-person meetings, Joe Tarnowski, with ECRM, rangeme.com. There it is. / you can even cut out the blog, just / CPG vibes on that one. And then
Well, I was going to say the key there, and you're going to transition into V-driven. But
sure.
The key with both of these is you as a brand are saving money by mentioning CPG vibes. I can't stress that enough. These services, these companies are fantastic, reputable companies that are going to help your business, and by just mentioning CPG vibes, you are going to save money. So their value is already there, but you get a discount on top of that just by mentioning CPG vibes. So I can't stress that enough. If you're watching now, listening later, or watching later on YouTube, use CPG vibes when you visit Range Me or V Driven, which Alex is going to talk about. You're going to save yourself money. So please make sure you do that.
Hell to the yeah. Absolutely. And then V Driven is a leading consulting and brand management firm specializing in strategic guidance and brand representation for emerging and mid-size CPG brands, offering services from direct sales to key natural retailers. They do accounting. They save you a bunch of money on that. They do deduction management. They have an a la carte menu of things you can pick and choose and customize and tailor to what your needs are as a emerging and growing CPG brand. They work with brands that are teeny tiny, that are just starting, to 30, 40, 50 million and above in revenue. So they can custom tailor it to your needs. Like Wade said, mention CPG vibes and get a discount, 25% off their first month of services. If you're a CPG brand, you can say CPG vibes 25 actually. And there's a link to schedule a call. And Luke Abbott is the man. Luke.abbott@vdriven.com. Thank you, Kyle. And let's get into our prize for the week. I'm just going to keep rolling with it, Wade.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So you just heard from David Abrahams, the CEO founder of Eye Level Brands. And let's talk about their software Turnpike. It's an analytic, and they're the weekly sponsor. You can win this prize, several $1,000s in value, 3 winners. So stay tuned. Under 30 seconds, we're going to ask the question, which we don't have right now, but we'll come up with one in the next 30 seconds like we usually do. No planning involved. Turnpike is an analytics software that shows many metrics and a dashboard. These include voids, category reviews, velocity of items, unit per store per week, turns, top retailers that pull from each distributor DC, top selling chain banners, This is all built off your distributor data. So they take all this data and aggregate it into a synthesized document so you can make better and informed decisions while building your company and building your brand and saving you a bunch of money in the process. That's Turnpike. And David is graciously offering 3 subscriptions, 3 prizes, subscriptions to the analytics software that shows many metrics, as mentioned, and you can use them for 3 months. Each winner, 3 months, and it's worth several $1,000, $3,000 to $8,000, depending on what you need for those 3 months. So it's huge, huge. So, Wade, do you have a question in mind? Because I do not.
Well, I don't. But here, Alex, I'm going to make a suggestion. Let's make
Sure.
this easy. Let's make this easy
Okay.
because we do want 3 winners.
True.
And I personally would rather see 3 winners, 3 people answer something correctly, and have. I'd rather have however many people we have watching now. I'd rather have everyone answer correctly and pick 3 than make it hard and have to figure it out. So let's make an easy question and give 3 winners, the first 3 to answer correctly,
Sure.
the prize, and or they can gift it. So that being said, I can go super easy if you've been here since the beginning of the show, or we can go a little bit beyond that. Alex, what do you think? What you want me to go? You want me to make it easy or not?
I think let's make it easy and reward those that logged in right when the show started.
Right on, right on. Okay, so where am I? Right now, where am I?
In a room.
What city? What city? And you don't have to say the state, because if you say the city, you're going to know. So I think it should come up pretty quick. If you've been joined since the beginning of the show, it should go pretty quick. At least I hope so.
Here's a clue. He's in the United States.
There you go. It's hot. There's another clue.
Now you've narrowed it down to 30 states.
Exactly. Well,
any state that's south. That's south.
Yeah, the challenge of the show is that, again, we've got a winner from Don Tolk is our first winner.
And you can actually take what people answered and just type it in.
I was just going to say the next 2 people that answer what Don Tolk just did are going to be the other 2 winners. So let's make it really easy. So Neolea is our first winner.
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
He said warm.
Okay, I'll give Crystal
easy.
that.
Yeah,
I'll give Crystal that. That's an accurate answer. So there's number 2. We just need one more person to answer correctly.
Yeah, that's bonus points for having the slogan for it.
Exactly.
All right, I see others coming in. It's delayed. So you have 2.
That's the
one more. So Don Tolk, Crystal, and one more. All right. And LinkedIn user, who is that? Someone else won, but I can't see who it is yet.
Sarah. I'm guessing it's Sarah. I'm trying to. Hold on. I'm trying to verify that because of the challenge here. So let me go to the tape here and find out. I hate that I have to do this, but I'm doing it. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't see yet who it is. I think it's probably Sarah, but you have to go on your phone, right?
Oh, it looks like, according to me, I've got. Oh, okay. I'm going back. Okay, I've got to go back, Alex, because we've got a little bit. The comments aren't showing up the way they should. So
yeah, it's kind of buggy.
Trevor Smith. Correct answer was
Trevor Smith.
Don. No. Don Tolk was number 1.
Yes.
Joshua Schurz with Bella Brand Seafood was number 2. And Crystal Rager was number 3. Joshua's comments, for some reason, are not showing on StreamYard, but he's commented throughout the show.
Oh,
he was number 2. Don was first. Joshua number 2. Crystal number 3. So, Alex, how do they claim the prize?
How do they claim it? cpgvibes100@gmail.com. I'm going to type that in real quick. Make sure to email us, because if you do not email us, you cannot get the prize, and we will connect you with David Abrahams over at iLevel Brands. And it's valuable that I would actually talk with him as well. If you're a brand, have a call. He'll do a 30-minute consultation with you, whether hire him or not. But it might be a good idea to hire him if you don't have a broker with good representation. Yeah, make sure to connect with him. He's a great guy, super knowledgeable. You'll learn a lot from him, and you can share more about what iLevel actually does, right? Helping brands grow. All right. So, couple quick things before we adjourn for the weekend. We want to thank our ongoing sponsors, Range Me and V Driven. Also thanking iLevel Brands and David Abrahams for their sponsorship for this episode. Again, make sure to keep in mind that we are at a new time. It's going to be a couple weeks of, getting used to that. But 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. We have a contest running on our Slack channel that if you give us 5 stars and post the screenshot and prizes, then you can win a free sponsorship later in the year once the spot opens, right, Wade?
Right.
And we have a Venmo. We have just search CPG Vibes, and you'll see our logo on Venmo. If you like to donate, whether it's $5, $100, $1,000, just to help us keep going, and you don't want to spend money on the sponsorship, you can definitely do it that way through Venmo. And also sponsorships. If you like to sponsor, cpgvibes100@gmail.com. And then also YouTube. Make sure to go to our YouTube channel. Wade has been working really hard on that. We're getting a lot of momentum on there. Just go to YouTube, type in CPG Vibes, and we have how many episodes, Wade, up? 60 to 70 already?
I was going to say over 60. Over 60, yep.
Yeah, and it's working backwards. So we're starting from the latest. Like he's going to upload this right after in the next day or two. So it goes from
Right.
episode 117 down to the 50s, right? To the 50s. So a lot of stuff on there. It's all good stuff. So what are you doing this weekend besides the fact that you're in New Orleans? I know that
I was going
much.
to say, I'm logging off as soon as we finish up here. Alex and Renee and I are going on a swamp tour, a sunset swamp tour, a swamp tour. So it's a sunset. So if I don't make it back, I get eaten by a nocturnal alligator. It's been fun, but no, we've done this tour. I don't know, half a dozen times throughout our stays here. With friends, family, and ourselves. We've never done it in the evening, so we're excited about that. So that's as soon as I log off, I'm getting ready to go, and that's where we're headed.
Yeah, some of the alligators down there are pretty picky, right? They're looking for gluten-free, organic, in those areas.
Renee is
Oh,
vegetarian,
she'd be a prime target.
She may be the first to go for if there's an alligator looking for a vegetarian human. I'll throw Renee there. But yeah, and so we fly back on Sunday, and next week I'm going full blown into #work with Wade. Lots of cool stuff happening there. Following up on what I've been a little bit of what I've been working on here. If you're interested in 3PL, I'll be talking about that a little bit more next week. As far as brands go, some opportunities there. But yeah, that's it. How about you?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out with family. There's a pop-up, actually, new coffee shop in Torrance called Andy's Cafe. If you're in Southern California, Andy's Cafe, just Google it. It's run, the part of the staff is autistic because the owner's child is autistic. So it's a mission-oriented cafe. And then we're going to watch the King of the Planet of the Apes tonight. I'm
nice.
big fan of that franchise. I love Caesar. I love the special effects. I love all three of them, but the first one with James Franco was awesome. And the last one was also really good, The War of the Planet of the Apes. So we're watching that tonight. I haven't been to a movie theater in 4 years. So
wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal that industry is really taking a beating. Just any in-person theaters, because you can watch it at home on a big screen, for $500 TV, and also you can do streaming and find movies that are just coming out. But we want to watch it on the big screen because it's like a blockbuster summer movie, and there you go. So we'll see you. Yep. So we'll see you next week. But also one thing to mention is in 2 weeks, we're going to have a special edition show on May 31st, and that's going to be the AI series. So we're going to talk about AI. It's going to be an expert series. It's also sponsored by Blackbird Foods, their pizza and wings, but make sure to mark that on your calendar for May 31st for that special episode. And then next week, we'll be sponsored by Social Nature, and coming out May 24th at the new time, 12 12 p.m. Pacific and 3 p.m. Eastern. So everyone, take good care. Wade, love you, buddy. Travel safe.
Love you, buddy.
We'll see you next time on CPG Vibes. Take care, everyone.